Icelocked here with Nocturne Gaming, back with more Legends of Eidolon, and we're taking a look at how to increase your cooking speed. There are several major benefits that you can gain throughout the game to help increase your cooking speed, and we're going to start with the basic upgrades in each kitchen table, and you have your speed buff here that requires a set amount of spices. Each time you level this up, it does require a lot more spices. So as you can see, my cooking speed just increases with each level here. It is important to note that you will need to level up each kitchen or each table individually, as these levels are not shared between different kitchen tables. The next major benefit we're going to look at is from cooking specific meals in your kitchens, and first is your eggs, and this is a relatively early game meal and it can give you a decent bonus. I would spend a little bit of time cooking these meals before moving on to the next meals that you can make. From there you have the corn dogs, and this is very similar to the eggs, except it gives a higher percentage of meal cooking speed per level that you gain on your dinner plates. From there we have the cabbage, which is the single highest bonus that you can get to your meal cooking speed, as this gives you 5% all cooking speed per 10 upgrade levels. And so each level you gain in cabbage gives you an additional 5%. So if we look at our upgrade tabs, I have a total of 337 levels here, which gives me a total of 2,640% more cooking speed. However, if I spend a few more spices and get 3 more levels, you can see even though I don't upgrade my speed here, my cooking speed will jump up quite a bit once I get to that next tier. You can check your levels on these upgrades by going to your menu here, and you can see that my cabbage is currently level 16, and you can see that I need quite a bit more cabbages to get the next 5% bonus. But when I'm multiplying 5% by 34 times, it's quite a significant upgrade to each of my kitchens. Keep in mind that you do need to level up these bonuses individually for each kitchen, as they are not shared between the different kitchens. On to our next major benefit, and this is from Alchemy. We're taking a look at the Diamond Chef Bubble, and this gives you more meal and fire kitchen speeds for every meal at or above level 11. This is when your plate becomes diamond blue. So the best way to level this up, if we can see, this requires 5.4 thousand of these spices, which is just an insane number. But if we look at the bargain tab in the liquid shop, we can upgrade this or purchase this until we get up to 90% off of our next upgrade. So looking back at our bubble, it now only requires 546 of these spices to get another level. And while we're here at Alchemy, let's take a look in vials, and we can look at the Long Island tea benefit that requires the sand sharks, and this gives you a decent multiplier to your meal cooking speed. I know it looks like a small amount, however this is multiplied with your other benefits, so the 60% actually goes a lot farther than it looks like on paper. Another great bonus to have is from stamps, and at the very bottom of the skills tab you have the cooked meal stamp, and this gives you a bonus of 1% meal cooking speed per level that you gain. You can double this using the lab, but we'll take a look at that next. So the last section where we can get some fairly large benefits to all of our cooking speeds is from the laboratory in World 4, and there are 3 mainframe bonuses as well as 4 jewels that can really give us some nice bonuses. First is the certified stamp book, and this doubles all of the bonuses from our stamps. So it's a great way to get a little extra benefit from the money we spend on those stamps. Next is the My First Chemistry set, and this doubles the bonus for all of your alchemy vials. Another great way to get a little bit more cooking speed from those sand sharks. The last mainframe benefit is really in connection with our jewels, and it's the Spelunker Obol, and this allows us to have 50% higher effects from all of our active jewels within the mainframe. This goes great with the jewels that we're looking at next, starting with the Amethyst Rhinestone, and this allows us to have 2.25 times more meal cooking speed. However, this bonus can be applied twice if we have all 3 of these purple jewels active at the same time. So we have a total of 4.5 times more meal cooking speed for having these purple jewels Next is your Sapphire Pyromite, and this allows you to gain free levels for your kitchen upgrades every 24 hours. This gives you 3 levels to the lowest kitchen upgrades, and it seems small at first, but it really adds up over time, especially for your higher end kitchens that need those higher level spices. The next jewel to look at is the Emerald Pyromite, and this gives you meal cooking speed is 1.5% faster for every 25 total upgrades across all of your kitchens. This goes great with your Sapphire Pyromite as it gives you free levels, so every few days you actually just get free meal cooking speed. And as you see, this bonus stacks up quite nicely, and I have about 80% more meal cooking speed for having this jewel. And the last jewel we really want to look at is the Black Diamond Rhinestone, and this gives you 24% more bonuses from all of your meals. It doesn't show on the dinner table menu, however, my eggs have a base value of about 100% meal cooking speed at this time, but with this jewel active, I'm gaining a free 24% from those eggs. There are 2 more things that I do want to mention before we wrap this up, and that's your dinner table menu here. And you really want to make sure that you level up each of your dinner menus or dinner menu items to at least level 11, or make sure you have these blue plates underneath them. The purple plates are also good, but if you have anything lower than that, such as these white or gold or even the bronze plates, they don't actually get the benefit from the Diamond Chef in Alchemy. So right now, each of the meals that I have that are at least level 11 give me 18% more cooking speed. So you really want to take the time as you unlock each meal to level these up to level 11 so you can gain that benefit. And as you can see, there are quite a lot of meals. Up to 60 of them are available. However, that's very late game, but it can give you a very nice bonus to your cooking speed by spending a little extra time. The last thing I want to talk about is your kitchen ladles here, and these ladles are gained for having a character AFK in the kitchen area. This character does have to be offline to gain the ladles. However, when you have them, don't use them unless you have your Blood Berserker active with the Overflowing Ladle talent, as this talent lets you have an additional, for me, 57% more bonus to my ladles. So I'm getting an hour and a half of cooking time instead of just an hour by having this talent active. If you have enough talent points, you can get up to 169 talent points into the Overflowing Ladle, and this will give this bonus an additional 10% more. So a total of 67% more time gain on each of your ladles that you use. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're enjoying this type of content, and a huge shout out to our Patreon members that support the work we do. Thank you from all of us here at Nocturne Gaming. If you would like to become a patron and get some added benefits, check out the link in the description. If you have any thoughts, comments, or questions, please leave them down below for me, and we'll see you next time.